Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today I have something really important that I need to talk to you all about. And that's about something that you may have heard about that's been kind of going around the last few days or so, or in some case a week, depending on how long you've known about it. And that's called the Marvel Strike Force Player Voices movement that's currently going on right now. Now, you may have heard some of the other content creators talk about this, but I want you to hear it from me. Because in the past, I have made pleas to Scopely, right? I've done that. People told me I was an idiot, that there's no changing them. This is a new movement, I guess, that is coming from us, the players. And it really truly is, because there is a lot of people that's actually involved with this, myself included, and actually a lot of other content creators as well. And I want to be very clear that I am in no possibility here. I am not leading this movement. Just want to make that very clear as well. I have, been helping to collaborate with them because I think that there's a lot of amazing voices and a lot of amazing people in this group that can really help push us kind of get into Scopely's head a little bit so that we can enact some positive change in this game for us, the community. And really what I mean by this is the community. I mean everyone, and not just the whales, not just the Krakens, everyone, including the free-to-play players as well, because realistically, that's what I see myself. I haven't spent a dime on Marvel Strike Force in about a year and a half, and actually with the recent news about the whole Saudi Arabia acquisition thing and all that, that makes me even less inclined to want to spend on this game personally. But I think that there's a lot of avenues where we could try and push for this positive change. And honestly, we have already started to see some of that. And that's where I want to talk about in this video. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. And so I want to start here, and this is the initial Scopely grievance letter that was sent to the developers, because I want to be clear that also a lot of people in the movement do have communication access to the developers directly. And this is not through, an envoy program. It's actually like direct contact with them. So that's why I think that what goes on in here actually has a lot greater potential than the envoy program as well. And I know what people are going to say in the comments down below. But this direct access is very important so that when we communicate some of the issues, a lot of the issues that the player base has with the game and its current direction, that can be known to them. So those are the types of people that are able to communicate with them. But we have this Discord channel as well that really helps kind of solidify exactly what's going on in the game, what's bothering people, and why I think that people really need to get on board so that those people who want to provide that feedback for us, for Marvel Strike Force Player Voices, you can do that. And, we're going to sift through all of this stuff, and so we can organize it in a way that makes sense, and we can send that to the developers, and that they can kind of, look at it and see what's bothering us. Because I think at the end of the day that they don't actually know a lot about that. Because so much so that whenever we have a problem in Marvel Strike Force, it's very reactionary and knee-jerk. Some of you guys might know this, every time there's a problem, right? There's a resolution or compensation or whatever, after the fact. It's never that they often think about what actually bothers us and what's the problem that keeps happening in this game. So I just want to start things off here with the introduction a little bit. I'm going to have a link in the comments, in the description down below, where you can take a look at this in full if you want to. It is, I'll admit, it's kind of lengthy, but it is pretty important as well. So the communication aspect is really important because, they do have that direct line to Scopely, and that is a really good start. And so if we can get the rest of us, the community, the larger, broader community on board with some of this, that it'll really help kind of solidify exactly what's going on. So what has kind of bothered us, and this is quite interesting for me because, this is obviously something that I cover a lot, right? Events, event structure, how we get to the end of the event, and so on and so forth. And I want to kind of touch on this. There's been a lot of issues when it comes to the direction of the events and how they've kind of been and how they've kind of progressed from, quite frankly, being crap to more crap. But it's because of, how it is with the whale stones. And I've honestly just come to realize that that's a thing now. But how, it prevents a lot of players from really progressing in certain events, and especially when it comes to character release events. That's where I kind of have the problem with. You know, you can kind of look back as far as Agent Venom, for example, that had a really terrible release event because most people, actually some people, didn't even unlock him. I know that if I didn't spend 675 core orbs on Agent Venom, I would not have unlocked him, and that's just absolutely terrible, and things like that can't happen on a regular basis. It's just not good. The community growth aspect of the game, I've touched on this before. I honestly do think that the community is shrinking. People are quitting, and I do not think for 1 second that they're being replaced at the rate that we need it. And this is part of the reason why, you know, a lot of our alliances are seeing people leave. People are quitting the game, and it's really hard to replace these people because we're net losing players. You know, there's definitely people still spending in this game, and maybe some of those people are being replaced on the spender aspect of things, but the overall net numbers are down. The active player base numbers are down. You know, all you have to do is look at, you know, from Morgan Le Fay's event all the way to Archangel's first time event, the leaderboards of the active player base, that is going down, and that cannot be in dispute because it just is. You know, all you have to do is look at those leaderboards. And if we do have another Scourge type event coming back for Nova, I'm sure you'll see it again there as well. There's a lot of main issues here, you know, but I'm not going to cover all of them here. However, I want to talk about some of the requests that were made to the devs. This was about a couple of weeks ago now. So this was probably about 3 weeks ago, and so some of these issues have already been addressed or have been mentioned in the Road Ahead blog as well as quality of life changes. So the underwhelming performance of Apocalypse, this is when he first came out. And this letter was not addressed right away because they were working on Apocalypse behind the scenes. Request number 2, which is the free-to-play character release shards. This is basically, you know, what I was talking about when it came to Absorbing Man's event being pretty crap, Agent Venom's event being pretty crap, and the requirements to kind of either A, unlock the character in the case of Agent Venom, or just that there really isn't anything more than 100 shards. You know, in a lot of cases that they have a strict requirement in terms of what you're able to get and how you get that. You know, Absorbing Man required a lot of power cores to get anything more than 100 shards. Agent Venom was actually quite hard just to even get 100 shards. And so this was really unacceptable. And hopefully this doesn't happen too much more in the future because that's not really good for us, the player base. The 180 shard solution that they mentioned here, you know, because I did actually watch Tana's video that he put out on the movement as well, you know, and so he talked about how we can only really have like one solution. There's the 180 shard solution, or down here is the character farmability solution. So both of them are quite good. I don't know if we will, like Tana said, necessarily get both of them, but I think that we need to think about this, right? Because I've covered character farmability is trash. You know, you often wait 8 months before a character becomes farmable, and that's just not good. That being said, there has been other ways for character shards to appear in the game, especially within the first 2 months via event milestones. If we can get a predictable, you know, a statement saying, you know what, you know, if you go hard in all of the events over the next 2 months for a character, you know what, and you're going to get a 4-star, that would be fine, because that would actually qualify more or less the 180 shard solution. That maybe not the character event gives 180 shards, but at least by going through, you know, the month-to-month events, that you would eventually get to 4-star within, you know, say 2 months free to play. That's fine with me too. It doesn't have to be directly in the character release event, but, you know, if, let's say, after 2 months, like, I still have 3-star, that's pretty garbage, and I think that that needs to, you know, get changed. The raid key issue, this has actually been addressed already, and we're expected to get this rolled out. Well, actually, we don't know when, but it's expected to get rolled out within the next, hopefully not too long, but, you know, I would say probably no more than a couple of months. And that's going to be that you're going to be able to get those raid keys for your alliance. As far as I'm aware, you know, you don't need a full 24 man. It's just 14.4k for your entire alliance, and then everyone can, you know, contribute as much as they want within a daily period, I guess, is what it's going to be. And then we're also going to get a auto raid activation at some stage as well. So those are some of the and gear and material bottlenecks. This is kind of a different thing as well. You know, there's always going to be some of that, but I feel like, you know, with the way that the level cap has increased, they've actually been taking away gold from us. And that's really unacceptable at this stage of the game, because it takes so much hoarding and so much resources, especially in the golden training module area, that how many characters that you can actually upgrade to a reasonable level every month is very low. You know, it's like two and a half characters. And since characters often get reworks as well, that doesn't really account for that. And I think that things are kind of bad on that side of things. Now, this list of signed alliances, you know, in clusters, this was very early on. There's a lot of people now. There's like over 2,300 people in the Discord that are on board with this, who are interested in the movement, who, you know, and who are going to be getting involved because there's so much there, you know, and there's so many forums and places of discussion to talk about this that I think that everyone really, you know, if you're interested in the longevity on the positive change to Marvel Strike Force, then I think this is something that you need to consider. There's just so many things, right? And I want to touch again on the event side of things, because all we have to do is go back. The hoarding, so a lot of the aspects that we're having to do right now in Marvel Strike Force is just wholly unacceptable. You know, for example, I will say, though, for Evil Invasion, one thing that I did appreciate, even though it required hoarding of gold orbs, you didn't actually need to hoard the gold orbs to get to the event item. So that's one thing that I will say. If you guys watch my math video, then you'll have known that you actually didn't need to hoard gold orbs to get to the event item, which is okay. I was a little bit okay with that. Coming soon, we have the Freedom Fighters. Wait, is it Freedom Fighters? Sorry, the Bucky Barnes event, which is going to be after Freedom Fighters, is going to require you to hoard training orbs. Currently, we don't know what those math numbers are until Friday, but, you know, that's what I mean, is that, like, we should not be required to hoard these kind of resources that kind of stifles our roster progress. And they haven't done that until more recently. If we go back to the March events, they never really... There was another gold orb event, I'm pretty sure, because it started back in March. But up until then, we never really had that. And it's not even just gold orbs, right? It's anything that's earned something. And we've had earned Blitz credits, right? Energy is one thing, and I'm okay with that. But when it comes to just the amount of earned Alliance credits, earned Blitz credits, we haven't had an earned Raid credits in a while, and I'm thankful for that. But there's just so many things that requires hoarding power cores, spending power cores, which realistically is another whale thing. And it just goes on and on and on. And so this is one thing that's really starting to frustrate me and grind my gears a little bit when it comes to Marvel Strike Force, because it's not encouraging good gameplay. It's not encouraging us to, you know, really use our resources towards our roster. And it was never this bad in the past. They did have orb openings in the past, but it was, they eventually stopped that because they knew it was crap. You know, the players knew it was crap. And so I really hope that they consider this, and this is obviously going to be a request going forward from this group, I think, as well, because it's just not great, you know. And so at the end of the day, you know, we're here to want to make things better, right? We're playing, a lot of us are addicted, myself included. No joke, right? You know, why am I still here? Some people ask me that all the time. Why is Boilon still playing? It's because I'm addicted, like a lot of us. But I also, you know, I like this game, right? I wouldn't be playing it or covering it if I didn't enjoy it. You know, there's obviously a lot of frustrations that we have with Marvel Strike Force, right? You know, but at the end of the day, we're still here and we want it to improve. And that's what we want to share. That's what we want to share to the community, to Scopely, to Boundless, to the developers, and anyone who cares. You know, that we want success for this game, we want things to improve, and we want things to get better, even if it's only a little bit. You know, because even those little improvements are going to go a long way into, you know, making us feel that much more better about playing this game. Because things lately, in my opinion, over the last 6 to 9 months have been, I don't know if on a spike down, but it's definitely, you know, and it kind of culminated in this shitty March anniversary event that really wasn't very good and well received by the community based on a lot of, you know, places I've been reading. And so this is kind of where we're at right now. You know, we need to have that proactive voice in the community to kind of voice to the developers and what's making us unhappy on a regular basis, but so that they can understand that things don't have to be this way, that things, you know, we can let them know, you know, our main gripes, the problems that we have with this game, and what we can do to make things better and try and shape it a little bit. I don't expect the moon or the sun to align or anything like that, or insert, you know, phrase there, but, you know, if they can just come to, you know, the table a little bit more than they have in the past then I think that we can move somewhere. And honestly, with the amount of organization in this group, I honestly have not been more impressed than I have with any other movement. This by far, you know, I actually honestly believe that there is some hope here. And this is our last chance. Frankly, this is our last chance, because I think we're at the stage now that the community is slowly starting to dwindle. We're seeing record low morale and player unrest, and it's apparent that this is the time to act. We can no longer, you know, wait in hopes that Scopely is going to see things their way. You know, we've tried to understand, you know, what's going on over there, but really it's just, it's come to this, right? And so that's why I think that we need to start looking at the big picture here and understand that, you know, there could be a positive outcome here. If we can all kind of collaborate, if we can come together and kind of look at that and move forward together. And that's why I think that this is really important. You know, so I hope that some of you guys, and I'm going to edit in a link above me here so that you guys can join in the Discord as well. Leave the Discord link that should be valid at least for 7 days above my head here somewhere, so that you guys can kind of join in too. Because I encourage everyone to join, to discuss, to communicate with myself, other content creators that are in there as well, and the people who are running this, and everyone else, you know, so that we can discuss what is frustrating us, and so that they can drive that forward to the devs, and we can get some voices back. It's not just a one-way street. They have been, there was a response, you know, I just want to kind of share that really quick. There was a response to the letter, you know, from Uatu, one of the developers over there in their developer channel. And, you know, they are, you could say that it's placation, you know, that they're just saying that, yeah, we're listening, we're hearing you, blah, 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 blah. But I actually want to believe that there is some goodwill over there, that there are developers that actually care about this game as well, and that care about seeing, you know, positive change being made. Yes, there is going to be probably some people at the top who don't care enough about this that are going to get in the way of some of this change. But even if we can make just a moderate amount of change, you know, and positive improvement in this game, then I think that's worth the effort. You know, we're listening, and we'll be making positive changes, a positive impact on the community soon. We want to make sure we pay special attention to the points mentioned in the letter. And then, you know, I honestly think, this is to keep you posted with an update later in April. That could have been the Road Ahead blog as well. There was a lot of stuff in there. And honestly, I think that they're genuine when it comes to the quality of life changes that needs to be seen in Marvel Strike Force. And I have nothing else to lose, right? Most of us don't. I think this is their last chance to kind of turn the boat around with the player base, and I think that we're uniquely situated in trying to, you know, kind of advocate for that. So I really hope that you guys will all kind of join me on this ride together. Again, maybe there was already there, maybe I'll put it again. There's going to be a link to the Discord, to the Marvel Strike Force Player Voices Discord, and I hope that you guys will all join me there. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Discord, or leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. You know, maybe you're completely fine with the way the game is going, you know, and then, you know, this isn't going to be for you. But for the people who actually care about this game, who care about maybe seeing more positive improvements in the game, you know, this might be for you. You know, and I hope that you guys will all join me on this journey together, because that's where we need to go in Marvel Strike Force. So that's going to be the end of this video. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.